You 1, 2, 3, go.
Take me out to the ball game. Take me out to the crowd. I'm a finish cracker jack. I don't care if I ever get back.
Yo.
Yo, fellas, come on now. We got a game going on out here.
Yeah, this movie's weird. Today we're looking at a piece of media that absolutely fascinates me. I've been captivated by this movie ever since I happened to come across it while I was on a plane. It was one of those movies that United offers in the air, and I'm scrolling through movies. I see a sports movie, Mr. 3000. Sure, why not? It'll pass time. I had no idea what I was in for. I just have to talk about this movie because I want to, and also because it's right at that level of bad movies where it's so enjoyable to watch. It finds that sweet spot perfectly. You know, a movie can just be bad and like not enjoyable to watch, or it can be bad, thus making it 10 times better to watch. And that's exactly the case here. This is a perfect movie to like post up with your friends, get ready to crack some jokes about it. And I don't want to make it sound like you have to make fun of the movie while watching it, but it's gonna make it easier. But for now, just post yourself up, get comfy, because we're going through this whole movie together. And I'm glad if I get to be the one to introduce you to Mr. 3000. Also, I know I'm not like at a desk or anything. I'm on my couch. I'm comfy here. I'm sitting here watching the movie with you guys. YouTubers are always like at a computer or something, but I mean, look at the camera too. I got the setup over here. We're good. Now, the title character, the main character in this movie, is played by Bernie Mac, who you obviously have to recognize from some of his classic sports movies, like Above the Rim, basketball. Yeah, the classic that starred Tupac. Okay, maybe he isn't the best known for sports movies, but this is a comedy movie just as much as a sports movie, and that we know he can do. Not many people have the skill set to star in Friday and Madagascar too, right? But Bernie Mac actually doesn't do a bad job in this movie at all. I think he really gives it his all, you can tell, and he does about as good as you can do with the dumpster fire that is the script of this movie. So Bernie plays Stan Ross, a legendary Milwaukee Brewers power hitter. And right away, we find out that Stan has quite the ego to him.
You don't like me because I make a lot of money. Because I'm one of the greatest hitters alive.
You can also see that little Reebok product placement coming at the end. Yeah, get used to that. This entire movie kind of feels like one large ESPN ad. Even when they get their guest stars, they have them talking through ESPN shows, ESPN interviews. And hey, have you seen enough ESPN yet? Here's Pardon the Interruption. And so when the story begins, Stan has already had this legendary MLB career that we didn't see. And as of now, he's already racked up 2,999 hits. He's just one hit shy of the legendary 3,000 hit club. So when we're put into the story, we get to see live Stan record that 3,000th hit. And it's always fun to me to see how Hollywood studios kind of recreate sporting events. You have stuff like Friday Night Lights with a lot of scenes that are really well done in my opinion, and then there's shows like All American where anytime actual football is shown, it's just laughable. But they do the field pretty well here. You can tell they use a mix of shots with the actors and actual fan shots from real Brewers games, which I like. We see Stan step up to the plate, crowd on their feet, ready to make history. And we also get a little more insight that Stan might not just have a big ego, he's a bit of a full-on narcissist.
Stan, you're gonna be the best looking cat in the Hall of Fame, that's for doggone sure.
But he gets that 3,000th hit on a line drive right back at the pitcher. Because, well, I'm honestly guessing they didn't want to hire outfielders. They could keep it all close up in the infield and save a buck. After an opponent throws Stan's 3,000th hit ball to a fan, though, Stan rushes into the crowd to literally rip the ball from the hands of a child, and no one stops him. Now, in the movie, this is 1995, so I guess it could make sense. This is pre-Malice at the Palace, but I mean, no one stopped the irate-looking athlete aggressively charging towards the child. No one. Someone even opened the gate up for him.
Open that gate.
So Stan gets the ball, and he goes on to make a wild announcement right after the game.
I'm done. Hanging it up. Now that I got this, I ain't playing no more.
With his team in the middle of the playoff race, Stan, their star player, retires mid-season out of nowhere. He got his 3,000th hit and then just dipped. And real quick, imagining this, 3,000 hits is not light. Only 33 people have ever recorded 3,000 hits. So this is like a movie equivalent to Ricky Henderson or Miguel Cabrera just up and leaving mid-career. And he does it because 3,000 hits is arguably the most amazing feat in baseball. The 3,000 Club is commonly known as a guarantee of eventual entry into the Baseball Hall of Fame. And that's exactly how it is in this movie, too. Stan was never the most beloved guy, and now, after quitting on his team mid-season, he's full-on hated. But none of that matters. As long as he has 3,000 hits, nothing could stop him from being in the Hall of Fame. And he had 3,000 now. And he ended his career with exactly 3,000. But something was off. Alright, get ready for one of the most creative transitions I've ever seen in a movie. You're gonna want to prepare yourself for how time passes here. So I think that means 9 years have gone by. And in those 9 years, we've got some news. Since retiring, Stan started getting into business, putting his nickname, Mr. 3000, on everything he could.
Get your page on at 3,000 beats, 3,000 cuts, 3,000 paws, knick, knack, patty, whack.
It really seems like the whole Mr. 3000 thing has gone to his head a bit. He's using it to hit on very uninterested women. This scene really makes you realize how old this movie is. No doesn't mean no about 3 times in this interaction to Stan. Different times, man. But if only Stan could be humbled a little bit. It's like 3,000 hits is his entire personality now. What's up? It's that predictable. Okay. Stan is humbled the very next scene. So while Stan prepares to be voted into the Hall of Fame, the Brewers decide to host a big ceremony to retire Stan's number. Obviously, giving us a little bit more.
I still look good.
Now, this comes despite Stan not being at all involved with the organization. He doesn't show up to ex-player events. He doesn't have friends from the team or anything. He's just kind of an all-around mean guy to them. But then we're hit with the nuclear. The Brewers check Stan's numbers as he's about to be voted in the Hall of Fame. But to their dismay, the numbers are wrong. Stan had 3 hits recorded twice, bringing his true total down to 2,997 hits. He didn't retire with 3,000. He retired just short of it. And his whole Mr. 3000 persona, it was false. This, to me, is probably the biggest plot hole in this movie, because I think they want us to believe that nobody checked the stats, double-checked for 9 years, or maybe for some reason the Brewers had the only access to the true stats, but I got 2 words for you, movie. Baseball Redditors. Baseball fans go in-depth with stats like nobody else, okay? You can graph things going back to the 1800s. The things that go down in baseball chat rooms, baseball subreddits, these are horrifyingly terrific war crimes centered around baseball stats. I highly doubt that they would miss something like this, but we'll play along for the movie. Stan Ross finds out that he retired with just 2,997 hits, and boy is he not happy. He screams and cusses at a group of children, which is becoming another theme here.
Shut up! 29.97? Man, that's bullshit!
Mr. Ross, please, the children.
Man, hell with the doggone kids.
Speaking of themes, we get another quick Sports Center plug before Stan comes to the quick realization that he has to go back to the MLB and get his last 3 hits. Remember, Stan was a dick in his time in the MLB, so nobody likes him. And he kind of knows that if he doesn't have this 3,000 hit thing, people are going to do everything they can to block him from the Hall of Fame. And he does not want that. So he makes this life-altering decision to rejoin the MLB at the age of 47 years old for the sole purpose of getting 3 more hits. And he makes this choice where most choices of this magnitude should be made. A bar with a drunk Brewers fan. Now, you may think, wait a minute, why would the team want him? He's an old, washed-up has-been who was rude to everyone. But, well, you must not have met Mr. Greedy, Money-Hungry team owner guy. Probably because I didn't introduce you to him, I guess. Now, he saw how many fans came out to retire Stan Ross's numbers, and like a cartoon character with money in his eyes, he jumped on the opportunity to have Stan back on the team. This was going to sell tickets.
Biggest crowd we've had all year was the day we retired Stan's number. We put him in the lineup.
So it's done. It's even made official with a Rocky training montage in the Brewers facility. The old guy gets to play with all the new modern toys, and for some reason there's a large group of middle-aged women in the Brewers training facility. Maybe they won a contest or something. Okay, this next scene is random, but I've watched this movie through probably 3 or 4 times now, and I honestly couldn't tell you this guy's name. He doesn't have a single important line of dialogue in the movie. He seriously is just there.
Viagra, man, you'd be the spokesman.
Oh yeah, he tries to get him to be a Viagra spokesman. What a silly one-off joke that surely won't have any further implication. So Stan goes through this whole welcome back, comeback press conference thing, and he runs into an old friend while he's there. Now, this movie's so unique to me because it looks like a lot of money was spent on it. The sets and designs are very well done. Everything is shot professionally and good looking. It has all the makings of a great movie. It's just that everything they were shooting was so bland and beige. It just comes off as kind of silly. This is a full setup, real press conference, and then it just diverts into a personal conversation with these two while everyone is just there, sitting, listening to them talk. It's not believable or realistic at all. But we go on to learn that this girl is an old lover, and if you couldn't already make the guess within the first 5 seconds of their interaction, the love interest for this movie too.
It's by chance you ain't here to see me.
Now, we know Stan. He's a borderline predator. He obviously wants a piece of her, but she insists no because, well, the same reason everyone hates Stan. He didn't care for her and he was selfish. So, like any normal pro athlete, Stan bribes the woman with a personal interview so he can sleep with her.
How about exclusive?
So, interview's over, and you know what that means. More unwanted advances from Stan.
Great. After I get my hits today, you want to come by the house and celebrate?
Alright, what's the next scene?
Hey, oh, good. Hey, buddy, come here. Hey, can you give me a hand?
You best me in a handshake.
I gotta tell my buddy, Stan Ross, unzip my pants.
Well, let's just skip through this. So, we're into Stan Ross's first game back in the MLB. Just like expected, it brings a big crowd out to see the old star. But, well, it's his first game back in 9 years. He doesn't do too hot. And, of course, we get to hear about that directly from ESPN shows.
A whole lot of just flailing around for the erstwhile king of swing.
And then this part would honestly be tough. Stan's got to hear the girl he's going after now trashing his name on SportsCenter. That's got to hurt to see. So fast forward a little more. It's been 5 games. Stan still has no sign of a hit, nothing anywhere close to it. You would think a normal baseball team, probably after 5 games, is getting ready to pull the plug. Maybe just admit they were wrong. This didn't work. Let's restart, act like nothing happened. Well, let's check in on our owner here.
We got 35,000 people in the park today. We're committed to this.
Yeah, okay. Another game and some more strikeouts for Stan. It's getting really rough. But here we get to meet another character, T-Rex Pennebaker, who is the Brewers' star player. And immediately the parallels to Stan are present, as T-Rex is a young, ego-filled superstar hitter. Stan sees it too, and he even tries to tell him that he needs to lead the team like a real leader. But T-Rex don't care. So we go to Stan's house for the next scene, and this upgrades it from a little narcissistic to full-blown psychopath for me. He has Stan Ross framed things everywhere. Also, the love interest is back because I guess they reward Stan's persistence and not taking no as an answer. This movie's got some lessons, man. But while they're getting frisky with it, she tells him that ESPN has reassigned her. And what this means is that ESPN is ending their story on him, sort of giving up on him after so many hitless games. Which, I mean, makes sense. That's probably what would happen in this scenario. But this makes Stan so upset that he turns down sex. This guy. And then he should probably take a lesson from his own girl on how to take no for an answer. She just leaves and says exactly what I'm thinking.
Lord, just what I thought I'd seen it all.
Little testy. Anybody have a Stan Ross rookie card?
They got Jay Leno? How much money did they have? Why didn't the money go into making it a better movie? Then we go to a horrible thing to put in a movie. Watching this part felt like a quick commercial break. Stan flips through like 4 different sponsored channels, just stopping the movie to let all these brands get their logo and slogans in there before he can finally talk again. It's like they were trying to cover all their guest star fees with product placement ads throughout the movie. Then we jump to another game where Stan Ross proves just how old he is. He pulls one of the most old man plays in the book, outing a runner with the hidden ball trick. Meanwhile, superstar T-Rex keeps absolutely nuking balls to outer space and taking over baseball, while his ego also takes himself over.
All right, I hit 43 home runs. What? 43 home runs before you ever even got here, man.
But in the locker room post-game, it really starts to boil over.
Yeah, but ain't no 9 guys. Ain't no team. It's me up in here. There's 8 other cats that can't even carry my...
Oh, heavy. Boy, that pup sounds just like me back in the day, I swear.
Look who's seeing the fault in his own actions. Stan recognizes that this is literally him when he was a young star. And yada yada, Stan wants to be the veteran to help T-Rex. He wants to be the veteran that he never had to help himself. Then they have this interaction after the game when T-Rex is getting into his car to leave. Stan comes up to him and tells him that he can't disrespect his teammates anymore, or he's going to end up alone. He's going to have people he doesn't know at his number retirement. He's going to have no one that likes him from when he played. And just the look on T-Rex's face, you can tell this hits him. He's like, damn, yeah, that life sounds absolutely terrible. I would hate if I lived that way. And then Stan's just standing there like, yeah, that's my life. It does suck. Alright, then we bounce into another game. Stan is still hitless. I have no clue how long it's been. Probably longer than a normal team would have kept him on, though. It's a comical amount of time. But finally, out of nowhere, we see Stan get a hit. It's an embarrassing, mediocre infield base hit, but it's a hit. Stan even dove to first base, which you can run through first base, but I mean, yeah, that's allowed too, I guess. And that means hit number 2998 for Stan. He just needs 2 more, but Lord knows how long that's going to take him at this pace. We hear T-Ray give an inspired plea to the team about pushing for a playoff spot, and makes this little eye contact at the end with Stan. It's real cutesy, just so cinematic. Gives you the goosebumps even. Now, we go back to that same bar, which is apparently the only place these MLB players hang out at, yet is weirdly never very crowded at all. Now, Stan's girl lady friend shows up to the bar. His teammates hype him up, kinda how I wish my friends hype me up when I talk to a girl. And then boom, they're sleeping together. Is the SportsCenter music really all it takes? Da-na-na, da-na-na. But the ultimate problem, after they do it, she wants to leave. Sex and hit the road. She doesn't want to spend any actual time with poor Stan. And, I kind of relate to Stan in this issue. Just so many girls want to have sex, and I just want to talk, but it's just sex so much. So many girls, sex. So much sex. Back to another game where we get some good insight on just how much you lose your mind playing for the Brewers.
1, 2, 3, go.
Take me out to the ball game. Take me out to the crowd. I'm going to finish the crackers. I don't care if
I haven't talked about those guys much. They've kind of been losing their minds the whole movie, just kind of in the background. They're not that important. They're just happening. Then we get a rock and roll music montage where they got to make baseball look cool and exciting. And I mean, there's only so much you can do. But this is where we get my favorite scene in the entire movie. Now, watching this movie through the first time, this was, I believe, the only spot where I actually laughed at something that was meant to be funny. I was kind of cackling at the silliness of the movie the whole time, but this is the only laugh the writers actually earned from me. It's the only time they were trying to make me laugh, and I did. It's their foreign pitcher who struggles with English being taught cuss words.
Son of a
Bitch.
Good. After the game, we pick up
biatch.
All right.
That's pimp stuff.
Yeah.
Kiss my...
Black ass.
Don't get personal. Don't get personal. No.
That's too much. I didn't mean it.
No.
When he says, I didn't mean it, it just gets me. I don't know. Later on that same game, Stan's up to bat. And if you thought the base hit out of nowhere was kind of weird, in what world is it believable that this guy goes yard? He tanks a ball, oppo field it looks like, after having one hit in the last 25 games. One hit in the last 25 years. What is this? I know I said the stats thing was the biggest plot hole, but this would just be stupid if it happened. He's like 50 in the MLB. Okay, but whatever. Let that go too. Stan gets one more hit and is now sitting at 2,999. Just one away from that coveted 3,000. It's a pretty gooey, sweet moment for everyone. Now, we flash forward a little bit to the end of the season, and Stan's gone on another bit of a cold streak. He isn't getting hits, and there's only a few games left. The next game we see is actually the last game of the season, and he flies out in his first at-bat. In his next at-bat, he chops a grounder towards second. He sprints to beat it out, but it's a really close play. Now, the cameras make sure to show us that he is just barely safe, but he's called out. His 3,000th hit was just robbed from him. But in this moment, the skipper of the team finally stands up for him.
That man was safe. The man was out. The man is safe.
He busts the ump out, and I don't know, it's kind of a nice moment. Skipper doesn't talk or do anything for anyone ever, but we didn't really go over any Skipper moments. Probably because he doesn't talk or do anything for anyone ever. But Skip was thrown out of the game standing up for Stan. Stan had finally earned his respect back from walking out on the team all those years ago. It's a big moment for him. However, he didn't get the hit, and he still needs one more. It culminates all the way to the
bottom of the ninth inning
with a 0-0 thriller of a baseball game. With T-Rex on second base, Stan steps up to bat. He absolutely needs a hit. It's his last chance. But, unthinkably, well, here's what he does.
Look at this! Ross lays a sacrifice bunt up the first baseline, and T-Rex isn't stopping at third. There's a throw to first base, and Ross is out. Here comes the play to the plate, the slide, the tag. He's safe. He is safe.
The sacrifice bunt. T-Rex rounds the bags and scores the walk-off run. The man who was always about himself sacrifice bunted for the win instead of going for his own record. He finished the season and his career with 2,999 hits. But he had put the team first. It was all worth it in the end. What a story. He eventually was even indeed voted into the Hall of Fame. Probably because he still had 2,999 hits. This shouldn't have been an issue. That's one shy. But the movie's got a whole good moral to it. A sportsmanship, teammate thing. I love it. Stan gets the girl, too. They end up together, and he lives happily ever after. This would be a great way to finish a movie, right? He's happy as Mr. 2999. I mean, the movie didn't change much. His personality's still all about his hits. It's just a different number now, but he's happy, though. Well, I've seen a lot of different movie endings in my time. None of them, I don't think, were inspired off the ending of Mr. 3000.
I'm guessing you've probably seen my commercial once or twice yourself.
The best is yet to come.
It was a Viagra commercial. They went out on a Viagra commercial. That's the last we ever hear from Stan Ross. Interesting creative decision, but my question is, what was a Viagra commercial? Was it that last scene with his girl? Was it the last few scenes with his girl? Was it the whole movie? Could it? No. And that really is it. That wraps up the movie. I would highly recommend any of you to go watch it, except for the fact that it's not on any services, so you have to rent it. So at the end of the day, it's kind of like paying money for an over-glorified ESPN commercial, but that's also part of the reason I wanted to make this, because a lot of you will probably never experience the actual movie for what it is, so this is the closest you can get to it. And please, if any of you want to rent this movie, go ahead. It's like $4, but if you do, what the hell have I started? Or you could also be like me and rent it twice because you realize you have to record it off of Vudu, but then you go on to watch it about 7 to 8 times to edit it, so you well worth get your money on both rentals. If you can't rent it though, you're not missing much. I don't agree with Rotten Tomatoes a lot, but this rating is pretty accurate for this movie. But I hope you guys at least got some of the joy out of the movie that I got. It's just the perfect bad movie, and I wanted to share it with you guys because it made me happy. Hey guys, post-editor Hayden here. I just wanted to let you know, if you're curious, this movie cost $30 million to make. It had a $30 million budget. $30 million. Where did that money go? Dear Lord. And obviously it didn't. It lost money. It lost $8 million. But how did it even make $21 million? This whole thing is just an anomaly. It's a walking anomaly of a movie. Other than that, that's all I have. I hope you guys liked this type of thing. Please let me know if you did or didn't, I guess. Yeah, I'll see you guys next time.